Free Tip Friday today, folks, is about the gap that we have in negotiation, and why is it that we have such a big gap between the buyers and the vendors. And obviously there is that gap because they see the price at different levels, but why is it? And I think that it's important to understand that every property has got really three prices. The first one is the price that we as salespeople appraise the property at, and hopefully that's fair market value. The second one is the price that the buyers see that property at, and that's a price that they come up with, or a figure that they come up with based on what they have seen sold in the marketplace, what has recently sold in the marketplace. So they look at things that have sold, and then they compare that specific house to all of those other properties in order to come up with what they think is a realistic value, and usually that's actually a low value. And then on the other side, we've got the vendors who are not necessarily looking at what has recently sold, unless it's very high value. They're looking at what is on the market and how does that compare to their property. And obviously their property, with their emotions, with the value that they see in it, will always be much higher than everything else that is sitting on the market right now. And so we need to look at those things, and when we work with the buyers and we work with the vendors, we need to understand it and then transfer them from where they are to the other side. So when you work with the buyers, when they work on the facts and figures, when they compare it to what has recently sold, you need to take them away from that and get them into the emotions and the value in the property, why this specific property is so great and why they should pay more for it. And then when you sit down with the vendors, you need to take them away from the great value that they see in the property, because this is the best property in the street, to look, this is the reality, and show them what the buyer is looking at. And by doing this, you will hopefully reduce the vendor's expectation a little bit and increase the buyer's willingness to pay, or the price that they're willing to pay. Hopefully you almost close the gap, or hopefully you will close the gap, but sometimes you will just make it closer so you can then work with that gap and make it happen. So understand why there is that gap, why people are thinking differently. Help them see the other side, help them to see the emotions, or help them see the facts and figures so they understand, and then make it happen for them. Use that in negotiation and you will be able to close more deals. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody, a successful one. I'll see you all soon.